From the inception of the Buhari administration 3 years ago, compliance with best international practices for safety of the nation's airspace and comfort for passengers were top on the agenda. Government swung into action by first taking stock of the industry to ascertain its viability. Targets were set. The Buhari administration took the bull by the horn to save Abuja airport from shutting down due to its deteriorating condition. The president rehabilitated the dilapidated 3.6-kilometer, 33-year-old runway of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, which was built to last 20 years but exceeded its lifespan by 14 years after going under serious deterioration, even though some surface repairs were carried out in the past. A 6-week target was set starting from 8th of March to 19th of April 2017 for the complete rehabilitation of the runway. Traffic was diverted to Kaduna Airport, which served both international and local airlines as alternative airport to Abuja. Passengers enjoyed free transportation either by road or rail to connect their flights at Kaduna Airport. The rehabilitation work was done 24 hours every day to meet with the deadline. The Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, reopened on the 18th of April 2017, a day before the due date following certification after all runway lights had been installed.
This airport is a single runway airport, and it's very critical because it has to be operational all the time, and we've been having problems all this while, but during this administration the government took a decision to make sure that they sort out this problem once and for all. It was closed for 6 weeks, and maintenance was done on it, a complete rehabilitation of the pavement and associated pavements. That means the runway and the taxiway and the airfield lighting and the approaches and other things. A lot of other things were done to improve the safety of operations into Abuja Airport, and that was done within time and within budget. This is a market arrangement. It's not only in Abuja, but we have also done some works on Enugu runway. We have also done some works on Port Harcourt runway. We have done some works on Benin runway. We have done some works on Kaduna runway. So these are a lot of things that has to do with safety, to improve the safety of operations into our airports. And this administration succeeded in getting that.
It became a milestone achievement.
As normal as can be, it was very good. I would like to commend the Nigerian Civil Aviation. I think they did a great job. It was a very good run. And per the standard, it was very good. We don't find anything that was out of ordinary. It was perfect.
I didn't expect that they will do such a good job on the runway. Runway is absolutely very smooth, and it's a day and night difference from what we had experienced before and what we see now. And I've used the old runway and this doesn't look like anything like that as it was before. They've done really a good job. They should be complimented on that.
I passed the gates and went into the hall. I had to ask the officers there, did they just build this? I think this particular government should have done a lot. And I hear that even at the international airport in Lagos, there's also a massive change. So I think that is a massive improvement, and I must commend this government.
Last 2 or 3 years, Emirates had issues. They pulled out of Nigeria, but they came back, and that's only got to have to do with the cooperation and support of government. Most of the airlines were complaining of repatriation of their earned revenue, particularly that's in dollars. And I think the Honorable Minister did a very good job there by assisting the airline to get into their foreign currencies and repatriate to their countries. That encourages them to start coming back to Nigeria. Secondly, waivers on spare parts. You know, aviation is very technical and highly capital intensive. Most of the aircraft spare parts are imported. So waivers were given to the airlines to encourage them to import their parts so that they can do their checks here in Nigeria. And I think with that, it encourages the airlines. Look at Air Peace. It's booming. They just bought 777 and they are thinking of bringing more. Asman is booming too. I think they have started international flights too. So with this, I think the industry will continue to grow as far as there is this kind of assistance from government.
In the wake of global terrorism and challenges of insecurity around airports worldwide, the government partnered with the United Nations Counter-Terrorism Center, which trains security staff of the Federal Airports Authority, Nigeria, on counter-terrorism to secure lives and property at the nation's airports nationwide.
Aviation security is very, very important for us. Once I became minister, it was my first focus, and I promised that I will change aviation security as we know it now. I took a trip to TSA in the USA and so many other places because I took it to be very, very serious. And I promised that I will change aviation security. I wrote a memo to Mr. President, defended the memo in council to reorganize and change aviation security and makes them arms-bearing wing of fun. And I approached government, and government has passed resolution like the UN, also allow us to reorganize aviation security in such a way that it will reflect the TSA of the USA. Of course, there will be a civil force, if you like. The uniforms will change. They will look very civil, very harmless, will not interfere with what is going on. They will be at the background, but of course, they are fully ready, fully alert to respond to any emergency that might happen. They should be able and have capacity to stop it, spot it, stop it before it happens. I had done quite a lot in this area. I do believe that the United Nations, by this action, and by selecting Nigeria to be the first country to do so, thanks to all of them, if we are the first to be trained, then we should be the best that has been trained.
Still on security and safety of the nation's airspace, the Buhari administration has provided many navigational instruments, including modern communication equipment and air surveillance to improve air safety.
Turn right direct to Deco, climb, flight level 370.
In the field of navigation, quite clearly, I guess we talk about it so often, what we did in Kaduna. We put a brand new ILS in Kaduna. Not only did we put that, but we also put into Kaduna and several other stations alternative means of energy. So when we install an instrument landing system or a new navigational aid that requires power 24/7, knowing that we may not have power available to it from the national grid on a 24/7 basis, we now put in solar panels. And what that does is it reduces our dependence on diesel engines, so it improves our carbon footprint into the atmosphere. And it lowers our bills because it's surely a bit easier or cheaper, or can be cheaper, to use solar energy instead of burning diesel. We put in ILS in Kaduna, but not only in Kaduna. We installed in Kano, brand new ILS in Kano. Lagos, in the next 2 weeks, is going to have a brand new ILS on 18 left. We've started work on a new ILS in Maiduguri. We are going to be installing in Port Harcourt, Benin and Akure. We are going to be also installing in Mina. and just. The total effect of this is that there is intent to make sure that the disruption to services in the airlines in terms of landing aids is minimized, if not eradicated. It might be difficult to eradicate it. You can have a zero situation, but every effort is being made to ensure that flights are not interrupted. We have approval to install that which people have been clamoring for a long time, to install Category 3 ILSs in Lagos and Abuja. We have made submission and suggestion that we should extend the same facility to Port Harcourt and Kano.
In order to checkmate the dearth of indigenous technical manpower, due to lack of a national carrier which makes local airlines to go for services of expatriates, the Buhari administration set up a transaction advisors committee which is at the last lap of their consultation. The national carrier is expected to be on stream before the end of this year.
National carrier is about having a pride of place, the pride of our nation. When they touch down anywhere in the world, they say, hey, this is Nigeria Airways, or this is Air Nigeria, or whatever name you want to give to it. That alone is unquantifiable in terms of rare cash. And so, it's a good idea to have our national carrier. That is the way to go. And if that happens, honestly, we will all be proud that we have a successful airline that will compete with all the successful airlines around the world. When Nigeria Airways was running at its peak, Nigeria Airways pilots were recognized by the world to be the best in the world.
We are talking of the national carrier. And I just hope that the government is going along the line that we cannot put government money fully into that. We need to get foreign technical partners. You'll discover that most of our own domestic airlines for more than 10, 20 years, what have they been doing? They come in, within 4 or 5 years, they collapse. These are private airlines. The Nigerian Airways stayed long because it was a government, but even now, government does not have that money. And I think the president made it very clear. We do not have that money to do that. And that is what I believe from what is going on behind, that we are looking for technical investors from outside that will come in. Then the Nigerian people can buy into it. That is, those two areas I think is very paramount out of about 4 or 5 things government. Other ones are maintenance. You understand? Government is looking at MRO.
Other areas that the government actually performed very well is we insist that the project like establishment of a national carrier, MRO and aircraft leasing company are excellent projects of which it can be achieved within 2 years. And the government will leave a very great legacy to this country when an airline that's float Nigerian carrier is floated on the ground. So we encourage the Honourable Minister to key into this 3 projects, ensure its drive to the latter.
The government is also mobilizing close to 45 billion naira to settle the outstanding payoffs of the staff of the defunct Nigeria Airways. Ahead of setting up of the national carrier, government is working to establish aviation leasing company and a maintenance, repair and overhaul MRO facility expected to provide opportunity for local airline operators to acquire aircrafts. The MRO is also expected to provide a facility locally for carrying out C-check in Nigeria, a platform that only exists in Europe and America since the past 98 years that an aircraft landed in West Africa.
The MRO is so important that if we had had them, all the foreign exchange that we frittered abroad in maintenance of airplanes would have been sitting right here, and would have been doing our business denominated in Naira and Kobo, and that would have saved this nation a whole lot of money That's one, advantage we would have had if we had our hangars, well equipped to handle, airplane checks, especially the checks A, B, and C, especially. Well, if we were to be dealing with the D check that is more comprehensive, more or less like stripping an aircraft down and rebuilding into a brand new modern airplane, then you can say, okay, you can know it better than the creator or manufacturer. Let them have that. But checks A, B, and C, we should be able to do them here, and those are a whole lot of money as well. So we would have been able to save, some billions and billions of dollars has been frittered away in all those years up until this day. So if we start now, good news. It's really very good news. The current generation will enjoy a little bit of it, and then it will be there for future, generation of Nigerians who will come up and be happy that somebody thought about it and somebody put it in place for them to make the aviation sector a better place. The leasing company. It's also shameful that all these years we never thought about establishing one. So it's good news, and it's credit to Mr. President Buhari that he's thinking about this. Credit for the aviation minister and the transport minister, all the officers that are working in the Ministry of Transportation and Aviation, to see that this comes into place.
In order to evolve a robust aviation sector, the Buhari administration is planning to concession some of its airports to promote efficiency.
The government is looking at a national carrier. The government is looking at concession of the airport. A lot of money goes into airport maintenance. It does go into it. And you discover that if you need to do that, and you look at the number of passengers compared to the population of this country, is very insignificant. Very, very significant. So government has realized that we cannot continue to pump that type of money there, and we are not getting good results. So what do we do? Let us give the airports out on concession to private people who will maintain it. That is one major thing that the government is doing. For us, it means that a lot of money that should be going into safety, a lot of money that should be going into safety and security maintenance of the airport, that we are not even getting, particularly from the domestic airline, will now start going into that area. They have enjoyed a lot of government patronage in the past. They've enjoyed they've enjoyed government intervention. They are owing the government service provider because there are people in government who are encouraging them, but this government is not encouraging that. That is the area that people like us are seeing, but even at that, we still have to let government know that we have a lot to do in the area of airport maintenance until they are concessioned. You can concession the safety maintenance, the runway repair, the runway and the runway approach light, the taxi and everything. You understand? Anybody who feels that Port Harcourt is viable, which of course is viable, is the third airport in this country with very good passenger, sell Port Harcourt Airport or concession Port Harcourt Airport. Because what is there? It is the non-aeronautical part of the airport that brings the money to the investors. Because when they are going to Sweden, they put it there, they collect passenger service charge. The passenger service charge in most of these airports every year is around 5 billion on the average. So what I'm saying now is that I think this government, to that extent, they are not putting too much money like we have done before, because a lot of money has been expended and we have not seen the result. What they are trying to do, the major area, like I've told you, get a national carrier with foreign technical partners. We are moving forward. It is not the idea of converting any of our domestic airline into any international, either international or national flag. They cannot make it. We cannot deceive ourselves. It is only government that can drive it from behind, not putting money into it, making sure that the regulation is right. And that's one of the things that we are doing now. Making sure that the regulation is right. Once the regulation is right, and it has no brother or sister, whether you are flying the national aircraft or you are flying private aircraft, everybody is covered and everybody is obeying the rule. That is the major thing, and that's what this government has been trying to do. It will take time. It's not something that is going to take 3-4 years. It will take minimum 10 years before we can be online, because a lot of things have been bastardized in the last 16 years.
Nigeria also passed the International Civil Aviation Organization ICAO safety audit, where it scored 96% on safety and security, leading to the recertification of some airports.
Nigeria airspace is excellent. With the recent certification of Abuja and Kano and Lagos Airport, that clearly shows that Nigeria is good to go. For an airport to be certified, it has to do mainly with security and safety. That gives room to the airline operators in such a way that premiums on insurance are drastically reduced. That is the benefit of certification. Foreign airlines that come into Nigeria pay little or no premium to land into these two airports. And you can see that's why most of them have started coming back to this country. So I think that's an excellent thing to this country.
In accordance with the international standards, we have complied with all security and safety provisions. Now we are working on Kano, Port Harcourt, Enugu and Kaduna Airport. So we'll do these international airports. I'm sure within the next 1 year, these 4 airports will be done, and then we'll continue with domestic airports. So this is also a very serious achievement. There are only few countries in Africa that have certified airports. As the president of ACI, I know that there are only maybe 3 or 4 countries that have certified airports in Africa. So Nigeria is the first, and it's because of the support we got from this administration that we were able to certify. Because this certification program started 11 years ago, but we couldn't achieve anything. But during this administration, we were able to achieve 2 airports and 4 are in the pipeline.
The government equally introduced the ease of doing business at the airports, where the function of officials and general methods have been streamlined to save time, simplifying visa processing for investors on arrival. To ensure there is no abandoned project in the aviation sector, the Buhari administration has carried on with the completion of new international terminals in Lagos, Abuja, Kano and Port Harcourt airports, aimed at reducing traffic when these airports become operational.
For the 4 Chinese terminals, before the end of the year, a couple of them will be ready. When we closed Abuja Airport, a lot of work was done on a Kaduna Terminal building. We were able to complete the Kaduna Terminal building and then put it into use. And a lot of other improvements were done also on Kaduna Airport to make it international. That's why Ethiopia Airlines are now flying into Abuja as an international airport. Now, there are other terminal buildings that we work on. We are working on Port Harcourt. This government approved variation on Port Harcourt Airport, and work is going on Port Harcourt Airport. They have approved also variation for Jos Airport. Work is going on Jos Airport, and this project will soon be completed. In Akure, we were also given some money and we have completed it. In Mina, the terminal building is ongoing. It will soon be completed. And a lot of other projects going on in all the airports across the country. And this is all due to the support that we got from ministry, from the government through the Ministry of Aviation. Recently, federal government approved a continuation of the construction of modern control towers in 5 airports: Maiduguri, Ilorin, Kaduna, Enugu, Akure, and Port Harcourt. So these are control towers. You know what control towers mean to airport in terms of operations. So we are going to have modern control towers.
The Buhari administration in just 3 years has reposed so much confidence in the public through a number of initiatives to put Nigeria's aviation sector on the path of progress comparable to those of the developed countries.